In the past 6 months, we've sold about 1.7 million out of our 8 million shares that we held.
네, 안녕하세요. 메이저쉬프트입니다. 제가 굉장히 좋아하고 존경하는 레전드 론바론. 제가 전에 이 란이 블룸버그에 나와서 인터뷰한 영상을 올렸었는데요. 그때 이분이 테슬라 목표 주가가 2,000불이라고 그랬었거든요. 근데 최근 테슬라 주식을 180만 주나 팔았다고 뉴스가 나왔어요. 그래서 알아보니까 진짜로 파는 게 맞더라고요. 그래서 그거에 대해 해명을 해야 되지 않을까 해서 이 인터뷰를 준비해봤습니다. 원본 영상 날짜 3월 4일이고요. 촬영 날짜 3월 10일입니다.
Why don't we start off talking about Tesla, because there have been a lot of changes at the company just in terms of what they're doing with Bitcoin and other things, and we've seen that stock really skyrocket before coming back just a little bit. What do you think? What do you see as somebody who's been in this for a very long time?
So we've been in Tesla since 2014. We started working on it in 2012, 14 to 16. We bought stock, invested $387 million. And that was 1.6% of our assets. It became worth $5.5 billion over about a month ago. Now it's worth $4.5 billion. In the past 6 months, we've sold about 1.7 million out of our 8 million shares that we held. And we sold them between $450 and $900 a share, average $660, $670. And so we still own 75% of our stock. I'm hopeful we hold that for a very long, actually more than 75%. I'm hopeful that we can hold that for a number of years. I think that in 10 years, our target is $2,000 a share. And I think that could be light by maybe $500 or $1,000 a share. So we're looking for a lot more.
이 목표 주가 있죠? 전 란이 이 목표 주가를 굉장히 보수적으로 얘기하고 있다고 생각해요. 자율주행, 로보택시, 배터리, 보험 사업이 다 실현이 될 건데 런도 다 알고 있는 내용이거든요. 후반으로 가면 설명을 하긴 하는데 굉장히 보수적으로 얘기하고 있다고 생각합니다.
When we started talking with you about this in 2014, when we were buying the stock, I told you that I thought that we would make at least 20 times our money. We have made 20 times. We've now made 15 or 16 times our money. I think there's another triple to go. When we were doing that, you were telling me you were skeptical. Most of my friends were skeptical. Most of my investors were, everyone was skeptical. But we persisted, and at the time we invested, it was unlikely, in most people's opinion, that electric cars were going to dominate. Now, of course, even General Motors says that by 2035, they're going to have an all-electric fleet. So it's going in this direction, and Tesla is the leader.
I think the headline here is that you sold some of the stock. That probably comes as a surprise to many people, especially if you think the stock is still going to continue to rise from here. Why'd you sell it?
Because it was up 20 times, and it became a very large percentage of some accounts. So I happen to own 1,115,000 shares personally. I haven't sold a single share, and I don't expect to for another 10 years. But for clients, I sold 27% of their stock, 25% of their stock. And the reason we sold was a risk management idea where it became a very large percentage of two funds that I manage, two focused funds that I manage, became over 50% of those funds' assets.
네, 저는 정말 대단하다고 생각하는 게 이 펀드는 테슬라처럼 변동성이 크면은 투자자들이 좋아하지 않잖아요. 대부분이 꾸준하고 안전하게 가려고 펀드에 가입을 하는 건데 이 펀드들의 비중이 50%가 테슬라였던 거예요. 지금 대부분의 보수적인 투자자분들은 테슬라에 5%만 들어가 있어도 안 좋아합니다. S&P 500 편입될 때도 얼마나 많은 기관들이 반대를 했습니까? 테슬라가 편입되면 실어도 담아야 되니까 어쩔 수 없이 줄여야 돼서 줄이긴 했지만 정말 대단하다고 생각되는 부분입니다.
And I thought that risk mitigation was appropriate. And at the same time, one of those funds, Barron Partners Fund, it was $2.8 billion 3 years ago in assets. And it has a $1 billion line of credit, and we had employed $750 million. And when it went up sharply, I thought that it was appropriate to reduce the risk of this portfolio, to bring down that as a percentage of the fund, and at the same time to pay off all the debt. So we went from $750 million of borrowings to less than $100 million, and reduce the position in the account from over 5 million shares to 4 million one. It was painful selling every single share, since I think we're going to make, my hurdle is to buy a stock. We're trying to invest and make 50% over 3 or 4 years and double in 5 or 6 years. And I think we're going to make a triple in this company over the next 10 years. And so it meets the hurdle rate, and you pay taxes when you sell, and the prospects are brighter than they've ever been. I think it's much more likely they'll be able to go from 500,000 cars a year to 20 million. It's much easier to do that than to go from 0 to 500,000 cars. So I don't want to spend all the time in Tesla, but let me just give a couple things. That number one, I think that, so Elon has said that the autonomous driving, which he believes is going to be effective by the end of the year, he thinks that alone is going to be worth $500 billion to $1 trillion in 10 years, just the autonomous driving feature. And that's good. It's going to be a subscription business. My guess is, right now you buy a car, it costs you $10,000 to have autonomous driving. And at some point, I think that you'll probably pay $100 a month. And there'll be 20 million cars a year sold, I hope. And all the cars that have been sold before. It could be in 10 years, it could be a $40 billion a year revenue business, growing very rapidly, because you're going to be adding more cars. There's a billion cars that you have to replace ultimately with electric cars. So he's got a really big runway in front of him, and this is going to be a highly valued business. That's one. So that alone is worth the present price of the stock in 10 years. In addition to that, you're going to get a business in Tesla that I think could be doing $600 billion a year of revenues and making $200 billion a year of gross profit. You get that for free. A battery business that could be doing just about as much in revenues and a little bit less in profits. You get that for free. An insurance business, you get that for free. You get a ride share business, you get that for free. You get the solar roof business, you get that for free. So the opportunity here, when I'm describing $2,000 as a target price in 10 years, I think it could actually be more than that.
자, 전기차, 자율주행, 배터리 이 세 개가 비슷한 가치를 창출할 거라고 그러는데 저도 동감합니다. 그래서 1조 달러씩 총 3조 달러 플러스 제가 봤을 때 가장 큰 비즈니스가 될 로보택시, 연간 4조 달러짜리 시장 규모죠. 그것도 그냥 1조 달러 가치 창출이라고 봤을 때 그것만으로 4조 달러 시총이에요. 지금 시총이 8천억이잖아요. 그러면 보수적으로 잡아도 5배는 더 간다는 거예요. 주가로 계산하면 3,500불. 4조 달러 말도 안 된다는 분들 계실 텐데, 자, 10년 전에 미국 시총 1위 회사가 엑손이었어요. 시총이 3,400억 달러. 지금 애플이 1등으로 2조 달러인데, 이때 당시에 조달러 단위 회사가 나올 거라고 상상도 못했을 거예요. 저기서부터 5배 더 커졌는데, 2030년도에도 1등 회사가 지금으로부터 5배인 10조 달러 이상일 가능성이 굉장히 높다는 거예요. 긴 영상 보시느라 수고 많으셨습니다. 감사합니다.